Prince Zuko has always been my favorite character from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And when I was younger, he's always my favorite because I thought he was the coolest guy on the planet. I thought he looked really cool. Firebending was pretty awesome in my humble opinion. But, as I got older and more mature, I realized that Zuko is one of the most complex and relatable characters in all of fiction. His journey of failure, redemption, self-acceptance, and forgiveness resonates really deeply with me. And being someone who has struggled with issues of self-worth and self-love in the past, I see myself in Zuko, and I think that there's a lot to learn from watching his character growth in the show. His character arc is a masterclass in storytelling, showcasing how a villain even can evolve into a hero, and not just because of a change of power or outward achievement happening within the series, but Zuko achieves this change through an internal journey that he goes through with himself. It's a journey of self-discovery, it's a journey of healing, and it's a journey of self-love. And I think that he is the most relatable character in fiction. When we first meet Zuko, he's on this desperate quest to regain his honor by capturing the Avatar. And this is where Zuko's struggle of self-worth is rooted in, honestly, because ever since he was a child, he was put under this immense pressure to live up to the expectations of his father and make his father proud. And throughout the entirety of the first season, Zuko's primary motivation is to prove himself worthy in the eyes of his father, to prove himself worthy in the eyes of the Fire Nation, and to go out there and capture the Avatar. And I think this is where a lot of issues can arise. And I mean, even in our own lives, in terms of our own self-worth, there's, people in our lives, our family, friends, teachers, bosses, everyone in our lives, people who we feel like we need to please, people who we start to live our lives for instead of living our lives for ourselves. And this is what Zuko was doing in this entire first season. Zuko feels like he has to go to hell and back to reclaim his honor, to make himself feel worthy in the eyes of his father, just to meet his father's expectations. He feels like that is his purpose in life. In season 1, episode 12, The Storm, there's the famous flashback where we see a younger Zuko, and he's really eager to attend a war meeting with his father. And when Zuko speaks out against a plan that would sacrifice soldiers, being a good person and all, his father is angry. He's enraged by his son's disrespect towards him. And this results in Zuko being forced to duel his father in an Agni Kai. And then, when Zuko refuses to fight, he doesn't want to fight his father. Ozai's like, hey, I don't care. And, burns his face off. And now for the rest of his life, Zuko has a permanent scar, giving him a physical reminder of his failure. Like every time he looks in the mirror, he has a physical reminder of the failure that he is. And I feel like this also symbolizes the emotional scars inflicted by his father. That one scar symbolizes everything, all of the hurt and the pain and the emotional turmoil that he's been through ever since a child is all represented in that one scar. And now he has a visual representation of that, and he has to live with that every single day of his life, and it wears him down immensely. Many of us can relate to this feeling of not feeling like we're not good enough, or having internal or external wounds caused by rejection or criticism from the people that we love the most in the world. The people we want to prove ourselves to might hurt us the most, and we have those scars that we have to live with every single day of our lives. And it makes us feel terrible to wake up every day and look in the mirror and not love yourself, to be reminded of the failure that you feel like you are. And this is why Zuko is driven to chase Aang. Aang is not only Zuko's target, but he's also a symbol of his desire for validation in his father's eyes throughout this first season, throughout this first portion of Zuko's character arc, right? But then as Zuko continues his journey, it becomes increasingly clear that his external mission to capture Aang is secondary to the internal conflict that he is facing every day in his life. He's torn between the person that he thinks he's expected to be and the person that he feels deep down that he truly is. And in season 2, episode 7, titled Zuko Alone, Zuko has this little, Lone Ronin episode, and he finds himself in this small Earth Kingdom village, right? And here, Zuko, he helps out a family and befriends a young boy named Lee. You know, he helps him out, teaches him how to fight, gives him a knife and whatnot. And then at the end of the episode, some bandits come and they attack the village, and Zuko uses his firebending to protect Lee, and the villagers turn on him. You know, when they discover that he's the banished prince of the Fire Nation, they hate him. Even Lee, who was like his best friend throughout the entire episode, he helped him out so many times. He turned his back on him just like that, just because he found out that Zuko was Prince Zuko. I feel like it's in this episode where Zuko finds himself alone without Uncleiro, without, his crew on the Fire Nation ship. He's all alone. I feel like it's here where his longing for a meaningful connection with someone, and his longing for a meaningful connection with himself, his internal battle with his identity. I feel like that's where all of this culminates, right here in this one episode. He wants to be accepted for who he is. He feels like he is a good person. He's out here, helping people. He wants to be this good person and be accepted for who he is. But it feels like no matter what he does in his life, his past continues to haunt him. His past keeps coming back and ruining things in his future. And I feel like we could go even deeper here and say that the villagers' rejection of Zuko reflects his own rejection of himself, because he's rejecting who he truly is. Because right here at this point in time, he's not fully, subscribed to the idea that he doesn't need to go and reclaim his honor to, feel fulfilled in life. He still wants to go out there and reclaim his honor. He's still rejecting who he really is deep down on the inside. And I feel like the villagers, rejecting him kind of reflects that in himself in a way. And I feel like at this point in the story, this is where Zuko, starts to question his path, and whether regaining his honor will truly bring him the peace that he wants in his life, right? And I think that this is a universal struggle. It reflects the human condition, the constant push and pull between external validation and internal fulfillment, wanting to prove ourselves to the people around us, or wanting to prove ourselves to ourselves. What's more important in your life? I feel like that's the question you have to ask yourself. Will it make us feel better to go out there and prove something to someone else, to do something so that someone else will be proud of us, or to do something for ourselves, to make ourselves feel proud of ourselves, to prove something to ourselves instead of someone else? And I feel like this next character I'm going to talk about, my boy Uncleiro, really brings this question to light, in Zuko's life. So throughout Zuko's journey, right, there's one constant source of wisdom and love and tea, my boy Uncleiro. I feel like Uncleiro serves as a foil to the harshness of Fire Lord Ozai, embodying unconditional love and patience instead of that, that hatred that Ozai has towards Zuko. I feel like, Uncleiro is the complete opposite of that. Iroh's role in Zuko's life is, he's not just a guidance, in Zuko's life, but I feel like in a way, because of this, this belief that Zuko has the potential to be a better person, I feel like Iroh kind of represents the voice of self-love and forgiveness that Zuko wants to say out loud, but he can't. He doesn't really understand what's going on inside of him. But I feel like Iroh is able to audibly show him and express it in ways that Zuko can't, right? And one of my favorite scenes in the show, very powerful scene that I feel like encapsulates this, is season 2, episode 20, The Crossroads of Destiny, right? So Zuko, he has this choice, right? He can either join Azula and return to the Fire Nation as a hero, or he can side with Aang and his friends, and they're in this underground tunnel thing, right? Oh yeah, because this is when Aang was trying to get Appa back and whatnot, right? And so then Uncleiro is down there, and so right before Zuko is about to make this huge decision in his life, Uncleiro looks him in the eyes and he says to him, "It's time to start asking yourself the big questions. Who are you, and what do you want?" We have to ask ourselves that in life, you know, who are we on the inside? Who are we? What do we want? What is it that we truly want out of life? What do we want to do with our lives? And I feel like this question is it's powerful, man. It's a powerful thing to think about. But Zuko doesn't really listen to Iroh's advice at all, you know, much like us. You know, we don't always listen the first time, you know, but like I was saying, Zuko doesn't really listen to what Iroh is trying to say. He's not picking up what he's putting down. And so Zuko, he betrays his uncle. You know, he goes with Azula because he thinks that going home will finally give him that honor and that love that he's been seeking. He thinks that, you know, if his father will finally love him, he'll like feel good about himself in life, right? Because he's unable to forgive himself. So he wants his father to forgive him because he doesn't know how to forgive himself. You know what I'm saying? So then he goes back to the Fire Nation. Everything is kind of chill for a while, but then we get, I feel like I said this like already, but you know, one of my favorite, this might be my favorite Zuko scene. I'm not going to lie. He's, what is this episode? This is season 3, episode 5, the beach, right? And Zuko and Azula and all their friends are like sitting at a campfire or whatever. And Zuko, he's like, you know, I don't know. I feel angry. And everybody's asking him like, what are you angry at? Are you angry at me? Are you angry at Dad? Like, what are you angry at? And he's like, I don't know. And finally he just erupts with emotion and he says that I'm angry at myself. And I feel like that's real. That's so real. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? We get to a point where, at least for me, I finally got to a point where I realized that I wasn't angry at, you know, anyone else. I wasn't angry at my situation. I wasn't, you know, sad, mad, or about anything else. I was angry at myself for not being able to forgive myself, for not being able to love myself, for not being able to internalize these emotions within myself and become a better person, you know, to not just, you know, to be me for me instead of doing it for other people. And I feel like that's why I love Zuko so much. He is me. I see myself in him. That scene, I've been there, and I love this scene because I feel like that's the human experience. A lot of the times we're angry at ourselves because we don't know what to do. Well, most of the times I feel like we do know what to do. We just don't want to do it. And I feel like that was the case in Zuko. I feel like he knew what to do all along. He just didn't know if he had the strength to do it. Star Wars reference. Zuko, you know, he finally betrays his father and he says he's going to go, you know, join Team Avatar. He tells his father that he was wrong. He tells his father that the Fire Nation is wrong and that they're evil and that he's going to fight for the side of balance and peace because that's what he's supposed to do as a person, as a good person, as a good and loving human being. That's his job on the planet Earth, man. He's going to fight against his father. And this is significant not only because Zuko stands up to his father, but because it marks the point where Zuko finally accepts himself for who he is. He's no longer seeking his father's approval, his father's validation. He no longer cares about anything but himself. He is choosing himself. He is choosing to love and accept himself. And this is why I love Zuko. It's cool to just see this 360 of a character from him going to some, you know, bratty little kid in episode 1, chasing down the Avatar episode after episode after episode. And then we dive deeper into his conscience and we see that he is a terribly tormented human being. He is going through a lot of stuff, man. He has been going through it his entire life. And to just see him finally reach this climax of, you know, getting to the point where he accepts and loves himself, I thought it was beautiful. Because hopefully, if you've had a similar journey as Zuko, you know, just like me, hopefully I feel like you can get to the point where you love yourself, where you get to the point where you're living your life for you, not for anybody else. You're realizing that this is the only life you got. And you just got to accept you for who you are and live for you and make yourself happy, because that's the only way to live, honestly, man. I feel like this is one of, if not the best redemption arcs in television, in fiction, in and of itself, man. This story is beautiful, and it's in a children's show, which is crazy to me, man. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Zuko today and his character arc because I really relate to it. And, you know, I think that a lot of you people out there do as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, we finally hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so very much. Like, you don't know how much this means to me, man. Like, I tell you guys I love you at the end of every video, because I do. I am here to put smiles on you guys' faces. I'm here to provide entertainment to all of you, and, you know, to see the love reciprocated back, all the kind words in the comment section, everybody subscribing, liking the video. It really does mean a lot. Thank you. I appreciate each and every 1,069 of you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, I'm gonna keep pumping out quality content, and I hope you guys will continue to enjoy the videos that I put out. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Without further ado, as we say in every video, I love you. Have a great day. Peace out.